And hey, we are live. And we still have the echo. I'm David Bowles. This is Bowles.tv. Hey, it's BOLES.tv, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern. Well, we were off yesterday having a lovely time with our beautiful wife, Jana Marie, celebrating the life of her dear beloved mother, who died 4 years ago. And yes, it's still painful, and yes, it still stings her, and that's why we spent some quiet time together, and we had a wonderful day. And now we're back at it. She's telecommuting, and I'm here with you. Well, it's been a very exciting 24 hours, and a really exciting last hour and a half, I'd say. So where do we begin to tell the story of a love that's here to stay? Oh, by the way, we watched, just briefly, Jesus Christ Superstar again last night, second viewing in a week. And the very, very, very end, where you have the empty cross, we finally saw there's this little person at the very bottom of the screen who walks like this across the screen. You can barely see him in the sunset. And then I guess followed by sheep. Is that the risen Christ? Is that just a shepherd tending the flock? What is it? Interesting. You could read it either way. That's probably why they did it. So I have talked here many days, many nights, about the Me 6 bot, which is used to be one of the most friendly bots on Discord. And there was a time where I had to make a decision. Do I want to go with Me 6? And at that time, you could buy a lifetime premium subscription for $89. And most of these bots, when you pay, want $5 a month. So that's $60 for a year. So $89 for a lifetime. Wow, sure. So that was a business investment that worked well. But at the time, I was trying to decide, do I want to go for Carlbot, which is like the turtle. You've probably seen Carlbot. It was $5 a month for the good version. You have to pay if you want any kind of, real protection or functionality. Or do I just want to pay once and go with Me 6? Well. You can't really have both because they both do the same thing and then they fight with each other. So I just went with Me 6. And then I got Mr. Wick to protect the server because Me 6 is not good at protecting the server. Me 6 is good like for music quizzes and welcoming people and feel-good moments of the day. Where Mr. Wick is vicious. And Mr. Wick and Me 6 didn't really get along because Wick wants to run the server. And Me 6 wants permissions to do things on the server, but Mr. Wick does not like. So you sort of have to self-degrade your Me 6 subscription. So Mr. Wick is happy because Mr. Wick is number one. Okay, so we did all that. Everything was working fine. Server was great. Then about a month, 2, 3 ago, Me 6 decided to offer what they're calling a Genesis Pass, which was an NFT. An NFT image. You've seen the avatars. Along with a functional utility pass. And nothing went right with any of this. Their whitelist was extended, which upset people who bought early at a higher price. Hey, it's Dora with us. Hello, Dora. Good morning. We're telling tales of woe and sorrow. Hey, Gordon. Good morning, Gordon. And they were doing this the Genesis Pass functionality NFT thing in 3 phases, which immediately struck me as weird. But okay. So they sold one, they were selling them on OpenSea, that's the secondary market. Then they're saying, no, if you want full functionality, you have to buy from us directly. So I made the mistake of buying a cheap one on OpenSea, and then I was corrected by one of the founders named Brendan, who said, oh no, you have to buy directly from us if you want all the full feature benefits of the NFT pass, which later turned out not to be true. So I had 2 passes. And they were expensive. At the time, they were 0.25 F, which is about $750. That's a lot of money. But they're supposed to come with 10 premium lifetime passes, which if you're buying it is $89 a year times 10, $890. You're already ahead on the balance sheet. Okay. So then they decided, well, we don't want to do the NFT just by itself, so we're going to split it. We're going to split the NFT. So one will have functionality, one will be the avatars. Then they released all the avatars. They were not done right. They were all messed up. And I saved all my messed up ones because they're the better avatars. And then they re-released all the avatars, which is very bizarre. But okay, so we're all in their Discord server trying to get along. Okay, so they released the avatars. People liked the avatars they had, then they were replaced by stupider looking ones. Let me see if I can find my Avatar collection. I don't know if I can, because I've sort of hidden it now. Oh, this is going to make me log in again. Well, maybe we'll do that later. So then they're supposed to have all this functionality with the NFT, right? It's supposed to be some kind of crypto gate, supposed to approve things, all these Web3 features that are just fantastic. Okay, now, then the whitelist and sale was over. They sold 4,000 of these passes out of 10,000. So they met half their expectation. Then they immediately, the founders, did not go to work on the NFT functionality or even fixing the avatars. They instead took half their money. So 4,000 times $750 is $1 million, whatever. It's more than that. They cashed out half their Ethereum for money, for US dollars. They put that money in their bank and went on vacation. People in the group were shocked. I said, what? You just made all of this money. We're investing in your company. And you're cashing out half of it and then going on vacation. They called it a team-building experience. But they're in France. So people said, well, the French, they love vacations. They get 3 months of vacation a year. Give them some slack. Maybe they were working hard, but they weren't working hard on anything because during the sale period and after the sale period, they didn't do anything. They didn't release anything. So the community was getting very upset. Then they had the avatar ridiculousness, on and on and on. And then weeks went by and they were not releasing any of the functionality on the NFT. And people were going to sue them, take them to court. And then they released one little plugin, which was ridiculously stupid. It was tied to OpenSea. And if you are a seller, it puts your floor and your ETH price averages in your Discord server. Okay, it's functionality. It's not that hard to do. Probably 5% of the people who bought the NFT would use that because they're not really active sellers on OpenSea. It's not anywhere. It was on OpenSea, using the OpenSea API. So that was 2 weeks ago, about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it never worked for me. I couldn't get it to work. And then, and everyone's getting very upset because the founders have disappeared. The PR people are getting paid a lot of money to blunt all of this ridiculousness that's going on. And people are saying, look, one person said I dedicated my whole life to this and put all my life savings into buying more than one NFT. And there were a couple of whales in the MEE6 forum, Discord server. And I finally asked one of them, I said, what is a whale, definition of a whale? And it's a person who bought 20 or more. So this is a guy who's making an investment in the company. at that time, 750 times 20, which is $1 million or thereabouts. So again, the last week and a half, people are rumbling. We need to sue. I'm not talking about suing. I don't care about that. And about 2 weeks ago, I sold one of my NFT passes at a massive, massive loss. Hey, Gordon says, never put all your eggs in one basket is an expression handed down for years for a reason. And it's true. There were a lot of people who said, why would you put all of your money in this NFT? And if we have time today, we're going to talk later about people who lost all of their money in these crypto bankruptcies, which is really fascinating because they were in it to turn a quick buck, and the buck turned on them. But we'll get to that in a minute. So I decided a couple of weeks ago, look, this is ridiculous. It's about the time I cleaned out my Sabet stuff. I said, this is not going well. I don't think it's ever going to recover the value of the NFT that we all invested in at $750. So I'm just going to go put mine slightly below the floor. So like if the floor was 0.19, you just put 0.17, and usually it sells. Doris says it's a scam, I tell you. Well, that's sort of, especially in this episode, it's where we're going. So that NFT 2 weeks ago sold almost immediately. And then there was this rumor in the Me6 forum, the founders, that's what they call them, the founder, they're two people, Anise and Brendan, it seems, who took half their money and ran and went on vacation and haven't done anything really since. And that's why I call this the boiled frog rug pull, because they're just going to wait people out and maybe release two little things here to keep people happy, run out the clock, get all the vocal people out so the sheep remain, and they'll tell them what they want to tell. And there's this rumor, the founders are going and buying back all of the NFT passes at the discounted prices so they can resell them later when they release everything. So they're going to double their money. So I took a big loss on that, but I felt okay. I said, hey, I have two. They both have the exact same functionality, even though I was lied to about it. So I said, I'll save one, because if it works out, great. Everything's going to go great. And then over the last couple of weeks, Ethereum's crashing, the blockchain's crashing, everything's crashing. And then, yesterday, a gentleman who goes by the name of Grape Ape, who's a Web3 guy, very vocal, supportive, posted in the Me6 forum. The founders have been missing in action for at least, I don't think anybody's seen them for 3 to 6 weeks online in their own forum. They hire PR people to answer for them. And Grape Ape has been watching, obviously, the account where all of that 4,444 NFTs at $750 each, that wallet, which you can do on the blockchain, he's been watching that wallet for any action. And he said yesterday, when he posted this 4 hours ago, $1 million, an actual $1 million, not my math, the real math. $1 million was moved out of that sales receipt wallet, swapped, as they call it, for US dollars, cashed out. And if you want a sign and a signal that something's up, that to me was the final straw. That to me was unimaginable. Terrible behavior. And of course, there was outrage in the forum. People were upset. How dare they? What can they do? And Grape Ape started his own server saying, we're going to sue them. Come to my server and we'll talk about it. And as I'm talking to Grape Ape on the server, and I'm realizing this is not going well. And I collected some of the Me6 avatars because They were selling them for, people were selling them for $5. They hated them so much. They were so ugly. And I thought, hey, it's kind of interesting. At that time, I thought I'd use them in the Facebook alpha. And then I realized as time went on, I'm not promoting these people for anything. So I had all these great avatars that I did not use. So after that realization and the conversation with Grape Ape, I think he has 7 passes. So he has 7 times 750, $1 million invested in this. And he says he's got to hold on because there's got to be some value. They're selling for about $100 now. So I realized, look, this is not happening. This is not going well. I have to get out, and I'm getting out. So I decided to get rid of my final pass because my belief, my theory is it's never going to be near $750 again, and it's only going to go down. So I looked what the floor was, sold it slightly below the floor, and within about 3 minutes, it sold. Some sucker out there bought my last NFT Me6 pass, and I was thrilled. And then I told Grape Ape, well, I guess I'm done. I've lost at least $1,100 between these 2 ridiculous NFTs and that stupid premium that I've wasted. And then another person in the Grape Ape server said, well, I have deleted Me6 from my server because I don't trust these guys. They had a big security breach that caused a lot of problems with major servers. And when they know that we're doing this, they're going to come back and maybe do something to our servers. Doris says, and now they're saying the government wants to regulate Coinbase. Don't quote me. Sorry for your loss. Yeah, it's very interesting about Coinbase. People are very worried that they're going to blow up. And maybe they will. I don't know. So when that person said that, I removed the bot from my server. I thought, well, of course, especially me, because I've been sort of vocal about this everywhere I can go. Because I not only sold my Me6 pass, I also tried to sell my avatars. And I was selling a bundle of them, 11 of them for $3. And there was no interest, so I transferred them to my beta test wallet. They'll just sit there and see if anything happens. So I thought, well, that makes sense too. So if I'm going to do that, if I'm going to remove Me6 from my server, I mean, I really am 100% totally out because I have no value at all. I don't have the bot. I don't have the NFT. I have nothing. But I would have my safety and my sanity. And in that process, Mr. Wick would be very happy. So I went in and deleted all the Me6 stuff, removed it from my server. Done. It's dead to me now and forever. And then I went in and looked at my server log, and Wick was going crazy. Mr. Wick locked down the server 7 times. He says, Mr. Wick said, something weird is going on here where things are getting deleted, and I don't know why. No one has my permission to delete this, which I secretly loved. And then I read the rest of the log, and after a minute, panic mode, 1 minute of panic mode from Mr. Wick. It said, okay, it seems everything's all right. There's no panic. But Mr. Wick went into panic mode 7 times over 7 minutes. Because he was seeing everything I was deleting, and Mr. Wick didn't understand why I was deleting all the Me6 stuff. But I did, and it's out. I'm out, over and out. Out is my name, I'm done. But what a disappointment, because I really believed in these guys. And Brendan, I mean, I guess he really just, you think you're old, you think you're smart. And I was trying to properly support Me6 by buying from them and on the secondary market. And Brendan direct messaged me for the first and the last time on their server and said, hey, if you're having problems, we can do this here in direct message. And I knew it was him because I'd seen him, so I knew it was his account. And so we had a nice long chat. Very helpful to me. Took my money and ran. That's how it feels. So if they come back and they add all this stuff, well, I'll be a fool. And Grape Ape will win because he has 7 of these NFTs. Now, the poor other person, Neevan, 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 who is one of the whales, is just beside himself. Not that he can't afford it, but he has 20 of these things, at least 20 of these things. What is he going to do? They will have no value. They have ruined their reputation. And when I was doing the Facebook thing, I said, I direct messaged Brendan and said, look, I'm doing this alpha. I'm going to use your avatars, maybe, because this was before everything had really gone downhill. Get you some good PR. I messaged them on their Twitter account, which I now understand is not run at all by the founders. That Twitter account for the NFTs is run by their PR company. No response. And then when all this started going south, I said, well, I asked you to do an interview on Twitter, direct message, but I don't want to do an interview with you anymore because I don't like how this is going. And I posted that on Twitter in public. And 2 minutes later, I got a response, finally, from the Me6 people saying, oh, yes, we'll do an interview. Sure. Come on, let's do an interview. I said, I'm not really interested in that anymore. But it's interesting that you respond to me only when I go public. When I'm talking to you in private, you ignore me. Well, we get a lot of direct messages. It's all spam. I said, I have a verified account on Twitter. You're telling me my verified account, we follow each other, and my verified account is being marked by spam. It's not being marked as spam by Twitter because Twitter doesn't do that. It's being marked by spam by you because you don't want to reply to me. But I tell you, Me6 had like 4 or 5 servers that I was a part of. I had removed all those, left all those. They had like 5 Twitter accounts. Unfollowed all those. Gordon says it doesn't pass the smell test. And that's what's so weird, because when all this started, Me6 was on 6 million Discord servers. Everybody loved Me6. And then right before they went public with their whitelist, they had this problem where someone had compromised one of their administrative accounts, and they were able to take control of these big servers, which they're not supposed to be able to do. So right there, you should have known, get rid of them, write them off. But at that time, I had invested $89 in a lifetime pass, and I wanted to make sure it was going to be good. And it's been downhill ever since. And now people think that this whole whitelist thing, this whole NFT thing was a big scam to take the money and run. And on the Grape Ape server, one person who knows says the only moderators they have left are the backside kissers. Because they said 8 months ago, they got rid of all their regular mods who were very strict and very tough on the company. They got rid of all of them, and then they brought in 2 or 3 sycophants. And by gosh, they're good sycophants too, because for the past 2 months, they don't get paid, they don't have an NFT, they get nothing. I don't understand why they're there, but they're there because they're 3 left out of 20. I said, oh, that explains why they are always so strangely apologetic, and just give them another day or 2, give them another week. I mean, what's another month? As everything gets stretched out. So, as my friend Billy, Columbia University, told me, never put good money after bad. And sometimes you just got to say, I learned my lesson, and it cost me. But at least I got a little bit back. I think a lot of people are going to go to zero very quickly. Because that thing that happened yesterday with quietly, unannounced, non-responded to as of right now, the movement of that $1 million out of the business account and into US dollars in their private pockets is just stunning. Inexcusable, unforgivable. There's no reason in the world that they can give us that would justify that withdrawal. They've done nothing. And now it's time for our very first blood pressure break. And we're going to come back with maybe better and brighter news. We can always hope. Back in a moment. And we are back from break. I'm David Bowles, and this is Bowles TV, BOLES.TV. Now streaming, we hope, in HD, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern. Now, the whole HD thing is very interesting with Twitch. I don't like it, but what can I do? If you're an affiliate, which is where they make all their money off of the affiliates, you can stream in high definition, but that doesn't mean that Twitch is going to actually broadcast you in high definition. If you're a partner with Twitch, then you're guaranteed HD streaming, which is weird because Facebook, YouTube, they all let anybody stream in HD. Twitch is owned by Amazon. They have more money than Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates. So what you do is, and I haven't done this because I don't want to mess anything up, but then I just decided I'm going to mess it up. You can stream in HD, and if there is an available slot for HD on the Twitch ingest server, then you will be broadcast in high definition. Now, I thought the video on demands on Twitch did not get saved as HD. It appears they do. That was a welcome surprise. And then when you export your VOD to YouTube to save it for video on demand, closed captioning after the fact, it gets uploaded as SD and then it gets transformed into high definition, which I learned takes about 5 hours of processing to make an SD video HD on YouTube. So that was a very interesting lesson, but boy, waiting 5 hours is a magnificent difference in quality. And hey, on the break, Gordon said, have you ever been able to find the video you were hoping to post here of this and that? And Gordon knows how to break your heart, I'll tell you that. I was a teenage movie critic on KOLN KGIN TV. So for 3 years, I reviewed every single movie that ever came out. Even if it was a little racy, because back then nobody cared. Today, I wouldn't be able to review half the movies I reviewed back then. And the sad answer is I cannot find any video. I search. And I know I have it somewhere, or at least I used to, but I can't find it. I believe I have it on 3/4 inch production tape and also on the big 2-inch Ampex tape. And the director of our show, named Mike Buss, who also happened to be a really sad and unfortunate alcoholic, was very kind to me. And I could tell he was always in distress because he was on the edge of dying every day, and everyone around there knew it, and he eventually did. But every once in a while, after I had a good review, he would find me after the show and slip me a 2-inch reel-to-reel huge box. He would slip this to me and say, your review is on here. He said, but don't tell anybody, because back in 1983, that reel of tape was worth $250. And I never did. He'd slip it to me, and I'd slip out the back door and go put it in my trunk of my car and slip back in. And nobody knew. He did it 3 or 4 times. It was very nice of him. And I have wonderful cousins who live in Columbus, Nebraska, who've been all over the internet saying, hey, see, back then you didn't even have videotapes. You didn't record anything back then. It wasn't possible. But we think, well, maybe some person had a Betamax somewhere, sometime. That at least if somebody recorded the show, if someone recorded parts of the show, maybe one of the reviews would be there. So far, I can't find it. Although we did find an audio recording of me at the Playmore Ballroom introducing a band. And they reminded me that I got them on this show, Kidding Around. They performed. I said, do you happen to have a video? And he said, nobody had video back then. It's the one failure in all of these things that I put online of everything I've ever done. That's the one thing I can't find. But I keep searching on YouTube. Kidding Around, David Bowles, Kidding Around, Lita Powell Drake. I'm not finding anything. So one of our good friends in the world as we know it is our old pal, Alexander Grushansky. And he is in Ukraine. Our other friend, Igba, is stuck in Russia, and neither one of them support Putin. Igba left, lived in Georgia, not our Georgia, United States Georgia, but the other Georgia, ran out of money. No one would hire him because he was an immigrant with a Russian passport. So he was humiliated and had to move back to Russia to not support the war, but to live there because that's where he had his house. And he's trying to raise money to get out by selling NFTs. Alexander is on the other side. He's in the Kyiv area of Ukraine. Always sends me updates. He says, I'm sending you a gift. I don't know how I'm going to get it to you, but I have some contacts, and they will contact you when I give them the gift. He won't tell me what the gift is. I said, please, you don't have to give me a gift. I'm very happy to support you. I did an interview with him on Facebook about his Ukraine artwork. I have to give you a gift. Okay. And I haven't heard from him for a while. Like last week, he said it's getting worse. Putler, that's what he calls him, which is a mixture of Hitler and Putin. Putler is bombing apartment houses now, and it's getting very close to us. And I have 2 elderly parents, and I have to get them out. I have 4 children and a wife, and I am responsible for all of them, plus myself. And I don't have a lot of money, but we may have to leave, get out soon. And I said, well, please let me know where you are. He said he would. And I haven't heard from him for a week and a half. And then I'm ready to do the show. Wake up, turn on the old computer. Here's another piece of his artwork. This one is very beautiful. A child in the Child of War. This is selling for 5 Ethereum. Which is a lot of money. But that's at least $5,000, $6,000. Can't buy that. Alexander is also the one, if you remember, who was selling his soul as an NFT for $158,000. We had the conversation with him in our Q&A on Facebook about that. And he stands by his offer. You buy that NFT, he will give you every NFT he has published, along with his soul. He will sell his soul for $158,000 to protect and preserve the future of his family, which I guess you can do in Ukraine for $158,000. Now, I'm going to skip over this one. This is what I saw this morning. Irina, now I'm told people, the women who leave Ukraine and Russia and who are named Irina hate it. They hate the name Irina because everybody in Russia is named Irina. So the first thing they do when they arrive is they change their name. The other one is Katerina. Everyone's named Catherine. Nobody wants to be called Catherine. They move to the United States. Call me Wendy. I prefer to call people by their original names. I remember in school at Columbia, there was a woman who was here from Asia. And her real name was Weng Yi, W-E-N-G-Y-I, Weng Yi. And she didn't want to be called Weng Yi. She wanted to be called Victoria. So everyone called her Victoria, and she loved that name. And I couldn't do it. I guess it's my own selfishness. I would always call her Weng Yi because I said, that's your name. Hey, Gordon says, my late grandmother on my father's side was Irina, and she was so amazing. Very interesting. Yes, I have been told that the Midwest attitude about naming children is, if you have a male child, you do not give them a weird name, you give them a biblical name. And the only acceptable biblical names are the names of the apostles. Which is why you find a lot of Peters, Johns, not a lot of Simons. And then you have a David. I was supposed to be Rocky, but my mother vetoed it. But David means beloved in Israel. Or so I'm told. But it is a biblical name. It's in the Bible, I guess. So if the name is in the Bible, it's acceptable. If it's not, then you're out. You're not part of the crowd. On the plus side, you're not Judas. Yes, I was thinking about that the other day. I wonder if anyone would name their kid Judas. There is Jude. And then I thought, would anyone name their kid Pilate or Pontius? Gordon says Nimrod is also in the Bible, but you don't see too many of those. That's a good one. Opportunity. Herod. Hey, here's Herod Davidescu with you. Pilot Bowles on the side. I guess there are forbidden names. So Alexander posted this morning. Irina Todosivna is not just a woman who was 12. Now, this is translated from Russian to English. When she went to World War II. And now, when Putler attacked our country, she is 93 years old. And she is trying to help our volunteer center to collect the necessary items for our defenders. So this is the lovely Irina. 93. I love this photograph. With the Russian flag superimposed, as they say, over it. So I wanted to check this out because I love Alexander, having gone through 2 wars. Now, he doesn't really include all that information he just gave you in that tweet in this NFT description, which I think is a little bit of an error. But it's selling for him at a high price of $218. I thought, I would love to have that photograph. I think she's fantastic. But I had just sold my E6 NFT at a big discount. I could have had $750, but I only got $100. So at that time this morning, I had $100 in my Ethereum wallet. And I thought, I don't have $200. So I went looking on his War Day Ukraine collection, which is new, he told me. And these are some of the images that you can buy. And they're much, much cheaper than $218. One is $29, one is $80. These are all photographs, images that he's taken, that he sells on OpenSea to raise money for the war effort in Ukraine. And he goes every day to the front and he feeds and gives water to the troops. And he documents this with me on his personal accounts. So I said, well, I got to do something for Alexander because he sent me for free, airdropped me 3 wonderful NFTs for my Facebook thing. So I found this one, which I found just curiously alarming. These are bullet holes in the side of a house in Ukraine that someone had then transformed into flowers. I think it's beautiful. And then Alexander posted this. I want to share the good mood and thank my friend David Bowles for buying my 2 works from the War Diaries collection. Thank you very much. The money from the sale will go to a good cause. One day I will show you and make you a surprise. Keeps talking about this. Once again, thank you very much. So I was very delighted. This one I think was very cheap, $29. I think it's gorgeous. I'm going to somehow use this today, but I don't know where. A banner, a profile pic. We will figure it out. And so Alexander sent me a direct message thanking me again and again and again for purchasing the bullet pedal. And I said, I wanted to buy the Arena, and I would have, and I could have, but at the time, I didn't have that much in my Ethereum wallet, but I think she's just lovely. And so he sent me this picture of her. This is not an NFT. This is the picture he took of her, that he then covered with the flag. And he sent it to me so I could have it. And he also sent me this, which is another picture, which is behind the scenes picture. And she's right there. And she's 93 years old. This is their car where they take things to the front. So I thanked him and I said, you know what? I want to share this story. I want to share the picture. And I asked him what's going on, and this is what he told me in a direct message. Thank you very much. Unfortunately, those who left Ukraine are not well-behaved guests. But those who stayed, like Alexander and his family, and do everything to win, they are wonderful people. They are ready to give their last help. Thank you very much. One day I'll show you a little surprise. Okay. And then I asked about Irina. She says she lives alone. Her husband is dead, and her children are far away. During World War II, she hid our soldiers from the Nazis. And she has medals. Now she bakes delicious cakes for the soldiers and tries to help them. What did you do today? So this is the other NFT that I bought. This one was slightly more expensive. This was around $79. But I tell you, I just love it. It's the Ukraine flag still flying in the midst of bombing out the cities. Dora says, very sad when a piece of code is worth more than an actual piece of art. Well, it's a different way to collect. And we've had very interesting discussions with Ian Jones and Ishita Banerjee and even Alexander and Igba in my Facebook Q&As about the difference between a digital representation and a physical representation. And they're two different things. One you possess and you hold in your hand, the other one you can celebrate online and prove that you're the actual owner of it. So they see them as two different things. Some people say, you buy my NFT, I will ship you the original if it's something that's painted. And then you have people who say they're separate. If you want the original painting that the NFT is a picture of, I'll send that to you, but they're separate exchanges. And this is the War Petals, which I think is just delicious. So the war continues, and we have friends who live in different countries in Russia and Ukraine, but who are on the same side, which is one of the conundrums of war, I suppose. Now we're taking a brief blood pressure break. Back in a moment. And we are back. Bowls TV, BOLES.TV. Monday through Friday here, 9 a.m. Eastern. And it's tough when you're telecommuting. Not me. You're the monster in the other room. Every time, oh, I'm going back now. Oh, could you get me something? Well, I'm late for. Oh, if you, just a little bit of something. Every time. I need to be smarter and do what needs to be done of me at the beginning of the break, not when I'm going back. When I'm walking back to sit down. Oh, hey. And just to put another button on the Mi 6 thing, because they're in France, there are people who are in the European Union who are owners of these NFTs. They say they're in big trouble, they think, because they're violating the EU Code of Conduct for businesses. They are required to provide a written receipt for any purchase. And there are people who've contacted them and say, look, you're violating EU code. You never gave us a receipt for the purchase. And this is where it gets interesting. The Mi 6 people are saying, oh, no. The blockchain is your receipt. It's all right there. Print it out if you want a paper receipt, but it shows how much you paid, when it was transferred, what date, what time. That's your receipt. And there are people who say they're misreading the EU code. And then people say, well, if we because we're in America, we can't file a complaint with the EU because we don't live in the EU. And other people who live in the EU says that's not true. Anybody can post a complaint about any company in the European Union, but you have to use this link, not the link you're using. And so now there's a lawyer involved, and it's going to go all around. And all I'm going to say is the Mi 6 guys are very slick. They know exactly what they're doing. All they have to do, I believe, is to show that they're making progress, that no one's been ripped off, everyone has an avatar, everyone has the first crypto plugin. There are more to come. We want to make sure it's right and safe. I don't think there's any way they can do it. And time is on their side. They will just delay and maybe release a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of seltzer down your pants, and they'll get away with it. So, I'm out. On our last show, we were talking about beef and eating, and our good friend Gordon sent us this in email. And as I told him, I did not understand. I thought I was talking about this and he was talking about that, but it was two separate things we were talking about. So he sent me this wonderful advertisement about rock climbing, right? Ninja warrior. Student athlete, does all these crazy, wonderful things. I love, this is a University of Nebraska, I think a volleyball player. Adora says, that's why my art is worth nothing, while Picasso sells millions. Well, have you thought about selling your soul? Because there might be some value in that. Selling your soul as an NFT. It probably goes against many things you may believe in, but the opportunity is there. I love to work on, this is a quote from the athlete, to work on the ranch, but I do still use it as a jungle gym from time to time. I'm always trying to train wherever I can. Oh, Dora's responding to my previous comment from during the break. Oh yeah, okay, I'll take a look at that in a minute. I thought I responded to that, but I got distracted by me. And then, as Gordon beautifully points out, this whole thing was sponsored by the Beef Board, which is probably from Nebraska, funded by beef farmers and ranchers. Dora says she double-checked with work. She cannot create NFTs. Okay. It's time for you to go, but okay. How can they prevent you from selling your soul? Beef is what's for dinner. So the terrific irony of this is you have this young, beautiful, athletic woman who is sponsored by the Beef Ward, which is not necessarily the greatest and best way to be a healthy young athlete. So during break, Gordon says things are only worth precisely what a person is willing to pay for it. If I take Amazing Spider-Man #1 and take high-definition photo quality copies of every page, the collection of those pages is worth a handful of dollars, whereas the original comic is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Same art, more perceived value. And he would also probably be sued by the Spider-Man people for taking photographs of their comic book. Even if you own the comic book, you do not have the rights to resell photographs of it. That is what I believe is what they would get you on. But I know that's not your point. And I really don't understand how I'm now speaking not about Dora. I'm not speaking about Dora's, I want to say financial situation, but that's not the right word. Her company. We're speaking generally in terms. I don't understand how any company can tell an employee, even if they're in the financial business, you cannot create and sell artwork as an NFT. I don't understand it. Now, can they ban you personally from buying crypto or Ethereum? As I understand it, yes. I don't understand how they can get away with it, though. Dora says, my company owns my soul. Wow. Now that's beautiful. Make that an NFT. Type up those words. My company owns my soul, so I can't sell this to you, but you can have it for free. Gordon says, Serena and Venus Williams are both vegan and are quite successful in every sense. But wasn't there some controversy where one of them said every once in a while I eat a little bit of fish or something? There was something weird. Jana Marie knows, but she's in a meeting right now. That people were very disappointed. I think it was Venus. Now I have to look. There's something where somebody got caught. Was it Serena? Let me check. I hope it's neither one of them, because it's very important to have them both on the team. Additionally, Gordon says, Instagram-o. Oh! What's this? Patrick. I love the photograph, but what is he doing? Who is he? Why is he here? But I love the look. I love the carrot. But this is what I was thinking about. Check the photo's caption. Liked by Christopher Goff and others. See, I think when I'm in this small space, it won't let me see the caption. I've run into this before. It doesn't show me links, cancel. I don't know. I will look for it. It's not letting me see what the caption is. If I click on it, it's not doing anything. Yeah, that's a problem with this tiny window. It says, here's the caption. 43 years old today. Oh, I love that. Spent the last decade of my life eating only plants. And what can I say? Protein struggle is real. Smile, laughing. Have a great day, everyone. I love that. And even on Reddit, there are people who are vegan bodybuilders, and they have the most gorgeous bodies. Male, female, they are cut. They are very strong, and they get plenty of protein. I believe you, Patrick. This is the problem. Serena Williams follows mostly, a vegan diet. During the off-season, the tennis titan relaxes her diet to include protein and cheat day favorites. But while training and competing, Williams sticks to a plant-based diet. That's disappointing. She got a lot of heat for that. Because she says she is, but she's not really. It's just like that ridiculous Jessica Seinfeld cookbook that we talked about. What's it called? Mostly vegan? Sometimes pregnant. A little bit pregnant. Maybe a little COVID. Brendan says, I'm glad Venus is all vegan, as far as we know. Yeah, Venus appears to be. And she has been vegan in the press for a long time. And then recently she came out and said, well, sometimes I have a cheat day. What does it matter? I mean, we really need them to be terrific, wonderful people, and they are. So I'm very glad that they are with us. I just did this on Twitter, and I just find this a tremendous fascination. Because we do this lovely show, I need some way to try to organize all of these web pages that I use. Some of them, as you can see with the Instagram, I can't see the caption. Sometimes there are ads, everything. I need some way to organize them because sometimes when Chrome crashes, I lose 83 open windows. And sometimes you can restore them and sometimes you cannot. So I thought, well, what can I use that would allow me to save a page in like a plain text format that I could use on the show to show? Hey, I remembered my old pal Instapaper. And now I stopped using them because they were going for pay. About 10 years ago, all of our favorite services that were completely free went to not just a one-time payment fee, but an ongoing fee. So I went back to Instapaper. I was able to log in. I had all my login information from 10, 12 years ago. Shocking to me. And the first thing they say is, hey, if you want to search all your articles, and I had like 100 articles in there. I couldn't believe it. They had saved it. I have not logged into Instagram in 12 years. They had saved it all for me for free. And I remember the revulsion I felt 12 years ago. How dare they want to take $1 from me? And now they said, well, for $30 a year, you can have searchability, you can get rid of all the ads, you can do all these wonderful things. And I'm thinking to myself, well, that does seem kind of good. I am older now and not quite as immature. Everybody charges for everything these days. Maybe I should check into it. And the first thing I see are all of these articles that I had saved. And it's so interesting from 12 years ago what I thought was important. iTunes, Big Brother, I was really into that show until it all changed. And these articles are saved from 12 years ago. Bad connection, the iPhone network meltdown. I remember that. Good news about Mel Gibson. That's changed, right? How you create a good-looking musician page. Visiting the World Press Forum. Gmail sweatshirts. I didn't even know there was such a thing. I wish I could have had one. I didn't get one, probably because they were charging for it. Push to lower salt use. Food industry pushes back. Well, that's not new. New York Times 12 years ago. Nothing changes. Now, one thing I've realized as I'm trying to find articles, save them in Instapaper, and then use the Instapaper version, in this live stream, which I think is one way to go, that there's tremendous outrage on the right side of our, political spectrum, because Democrats with money are going in and donating millions of dollars to the MAGA nut candidate instead of the reasonable center Republican candidate. And Democrats are putting in all that money. So when it comes to the general election, you're going to have a middle-of-the-road reasonable Democrat on one side and a MAGA Trump nut on the other. And the hope is that they can beat the MAGA nut instead of the reasonable Republican. And they say there's danger in that. Who knows? It could go wrong. Look what happened to Donald Trump. And I say there is only one Donald Trump. When he's gone, however that happens, whenever that may happen, the MAGA thing is going to die. Now, there's still going to be nuts on that side, but they're not going to be the crazy impassioned nuts that they are for Trump. They're not going to be excited about Pence, Hawley, Cotton, DeSantis. It's not going to be that kind of fever. Not going to happen. So I think that's very cunning and very, very smart. Finally, the Democrats are smartening up a little bit and playing a little bit of hardball. So we'll see what happens. And the fact that the right is outraged that Democrats are getting involved in Republican primaries is just a little too rich. Speaking of Instagram, this is my very first saved Instagram piece that popped up for some reason in my regular stream from The Guardian from several years ago about Brett Kavanaugh. And speaking about morality and the wicked right, let's have a graphic and almost pornographic conversation about Brett Kavanaugh. Brett Kavanaugh strongly opposed giving Bill Clinton any break on questions regarding his sexual relationship with the White House intern Monica Lewinsky, according to a memo written by the Supreme Court nominee in 1998 and released to the public on Monday, whenever this was. And one thing I love about Instagram is I can do these yellow highlights. So as I read this before the show, I can highlight important parts, and I know I can skip over all this other stuff. 20 years ago, Kavanaugh was an associate counsel of independent counsel Ken Starr, who was investigating the president. Written on 15 August of 98, 2 days before Clinton testified to a grand jury from the White House, he, Brett Kavanaugh, posed 10 suggested questions about the affair with Lewinsky, many of them sexually explicit. One was, if Monica Lewinsky says that you inserted a cigar into her vagina while you were in the Oval Office, would she be lying? Another, if Monica Lewinsky says you ejaculated in her mouth on 2 occasions in the Oval Office area, would she be lying? Now, this is the guy who's on the Supreme Court now, and this is who he was in 98. Kavanaugh also suggested asking Clinton, if Monica Lewinsky says that on several occasions in the Oval Office area, you used your fingers to stimulate her vagina and bring her to orgasm, would she in fact be lying? And if Monica Lewinsky says that you masturbated into a trash can in your secretary's office, would she be lying? Kavanaugh urged that it was the function of the independent counsel to make Clinton's pattern of revolting behavior clear. And this guy's on the Supreme Court. And this guy lied in front of the Senate about stare decisis and Roe versus Wade. So you talk about moral character. I guess it cuts both ways. Sometimes you're the one wielding the blade, and sometimes you're the one getting stabbed. Take our final blood pressure break of the day, returning in a moment. And hey, we're back. Back from break. Whew. Wonders. I don't know why. Okay. Hot. Pull up. Oh well. This is Bowls.tv. BOLES.tv. Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern. Talking about a variety of things, a plethora of ideas. Well, there's an interesting new term that's out, and it's not really a term of endearment. And it's really strange how it's now out in the public. Dr. Fauci got COVID. President Biden has COVID. And this idea that they're now floating from the CDC is, everyone's going to get COVID eventually. It's going to be as common as the common cold. It's like the flu. But for 2 years, they said this is not the flu. This is very different from the flu. Well, if you have both shots and you're double boosted, it's the same as having the flu. And then children can now be vaccinated. And there was an article over the weekend in New York Times, 40% of parents, 40%, are not going to vaccinate their children. And then you read in another article that 85% of all Americans have been infected by COVID at least one time. That's a pretty high number. And monkeypox is now taking over the world. There are now 2 more cases reported in Omaha. Omaha? Nothing happens in Omaha. Monkeypox center of the Midwest. Tells you what's going on in Omaha, right? So this 85% of people infected with COVID, and the majority always define the minority, right? Jan and I were sad to find out that we are now considered COVID virgins. Yeah, not really a term of endearment to me. Now, Jana is very proud of her virginity status. And I made the terrible joke, it's the only thing virginal about you, my love. I was lucky she laughed. As our friend El Beyonce too, who has visited us frequently and infrequently, has said about her transformation from a male body to a female body that she has very happily and willingly shared here with us on this live stream occasionally, says she is getting her second boobs and she's looking forward to it. I guess this is our second virginity. We are COVID virgins and we are proud of it. And we are going to protect ourselves. And it's true. We're very vigilant about this. We wash our hands. We wear masks wherever we go. We had a friend from the Midwest. Had COVID twice. Doesn't seem to care. She went to D.C., came back, turned around, went out to California, to the Disney place. I don't know if it's land or world. I can never remember. Came back. COVID, second time. Didn't care. It's COVID. The long COVID is frightening when you read these stories about how people have long-term brain function problems, heart problems, lung problems. Why would you not care about getting COVID? Why would you not want to remain as virginal for as long as you possibly can? But I guess people just don't care. They think they get it, and then they're immune. And that used to be true, but not with this BA.5 variant. It's very sticky. It will reinfect you very happily. The antibodies you have, it doesn't matter. It doesn't care. Here, you want COVID? Here. Oh, you're not going to wear a mask on the plane? Here, COVID. Oh. At this point, I worry about how much longer it's going to last. People like him, I think of them as COVID virgins, are becoming rare. Just yesterday, President Joe Biden thinned their ranks by one more person. The Institute of Health Metrics and Evaluation suggests that as of earlier this month, 82% of Americans have been infected with coronavirus. I'd rather be a virgin than be part of the 84%. The basic math, admittedly, doesn't look promising. Most of the people getting infected right now seem to be coming down with the illness for the first time. Hey, artist Dora says my friend, a Trumpster, got COVID a couple of times, and now her 86-year-old father has it. That's the thing. And we're going to find out in this article that people think they're fine, but they infect other people because of carriers. Gordon says, question, if I had COVID in January 2020, before any of this was known, would there be any trace of any sign that it could be detected to say it previously was there? I believe the answer is no. The antibodies, the markers, as I understand it, are there for about 3 to 6 months. But usually they say after 3 months it fades, which is the same thing that happens with the boosters. The boosters that we have currently last about 3 months, 90 days. And then at that time, it begins to diminish. And how much it diminishes depends on you. Artist Dora said her son got it 2 or 3 times now. Oh my gosh, it's ridiculous. Gordon says, the reason I ask is that I have no idea if I had it or not, or if I was just plain sick with a bad cold. Yeah, that's the bad thing about the whole thing. Did you have it or not? And usually the big marker is lack of taste. And Doris says they refuse to get vaccinated. I can't. I don't know how you deal with those people, Dora. And I remember you went and visited. You had some people who were dying or dead or on the way, and you would go visit them double masked, only to return home to find out that they all infected each other. COVID. Wow. But even if somebody in January of 2020 had COVID, it wouldn't make any difference now because any antibodies you had are gone. The way they sold it early is, if you get infected once, you're okay. You'll be safe for 6 months. Pandora says, I keep my mouth shut. Yes, it's true about my other friends. Yeah, it's hard to keep your mouth shut because you don't want to keep your mouth shut. You want to say, I don't want this. Don't invite me places. I don't understand. There was a young couple. Read about this the other day. Visiting the Midwest. And they're from the East Coast, not us. And they were passing through some shopping mall in the Midwest, and they had their masks on. They're walking on the mask. And they walk by people in the aisle. And under their breath, these people say, sheep, sheep. And they're looking at them like, what's wrong with you? Gordon says the same folks saying masks are an inconvenience looked rather horrified when they found out they'd be intubated. Oh. It's just... indignant stupidity. There's not a kind way to say it. And then those people also, when they were sheep under their breath, and they, ignored them, then they went out to dinner wearing their masks. Then they take them off to eat, then they put them back. People in booths on both sides of them. Oh, so people couldn't hear, but they could hear. Bah. So they were called sheep, and then they were bawed at as if they were sheep. But I guess the people doing the buying are the real sheep, right? I was thinking, what would I do? And Jess said, you'd be mad, you'd yell at them. I said, yeah, no, I wouldn't, because I know that they're nuts. And I would probably say, you know what? I'd make up a little lie. I have COVID, so I'm trying to protect you. If you want me to take this off and cough on you, I will. And then see their expression. Dora says, and her nephew was a doctor. She's intelligent in other ways. Very strange. I don't understand. It's become politicized somehow. And as I've said many times in this live stream, if you are a Trump supporter, you would go out and get the vaccine, because Donald Trump is very happy to tell you, and it's true, that the vaccine was found and distributed and invented on his watch. Donald Trump owns the vaccine for COVID. So if you love Donald Trump, you better love the vaccine, or you're being two-faced. The basic math doesn't look promising. Most of the people getting infected right now seem to be coming down with the illness for the first time. Oh, isn't that great? Even though they are a distinct minority. Nationally, we don't have good data on who is getting COVID, though in New York, first infections seem to be happening at 5 times the rate of reinfections. Well, isn't that great? That's what happens when people stop wearing their mask, and you're together on mass transit, and you're required to wear your mask on the PATH train and the subway train, and only about 5% people do now. And of that 5% is the beautiful Jana Marie sweetheart. Still, they reiterated, we don't quite know how at risk those who haven't had COVID are, especially when BA.5 seems to be reinfecting so many people. Who are these people? I don't know if I would call them sitting ducks necessarily. Thank you so much, COVID virgin sitting duck. But I would say every one of us is more vulnerable. I can't believe that. I think this is from the New York Times. The whole tone of this article is outrageous. The ultimate problem with people viewing themselves as sitting ducks is that this is the exact attitude epidemiologists do not want us to have. It can foster a why bother demeanor, negating all public health efforts to stop transmission and discouraging personal efforts to protect oneself. Many people have already adopted a meh, meow attitude toward COVID, not letting the fear of an infection get in the way of having a good time. Stupid. Yes, there's the risk of long COVID, but those who escape it can still feel terrible for several days, if not weeks. The consequences of repeated infections and their potential to cause long COVID or other health issues are not yet known. Well, let's do it anyway. And of course, the tenets of COVID 101 are still true. Even if your infection is mild, you can still spread it to someone who could have it much worse. I told my fiance that he would probably get COVID, but should definitely still not try to get COVID. He described the situation as Kafkaesque. Indeed, these are absurd and illogical times. That's from The Atlantic. Yasmin Tayag. COVID virgins unite! I guess it's a label I happily accept because I don't want this. I accept that if there are 82, 84% of people around me who are going to get it, I might just get it, and there's nothing I can do about it. Gordon says if you just come out and say if you get COVID, you may never get an erection again without pills. That might help the super dopes want to get vaccinated. Well said. I hope Brett Kavanaugh didn't hear you say that because you might be asked about it later in a deposition. What did you mean about pills and COVID and erections, Gordon? Would I be lying if I said you said that on a live stream? It's a big mess, and I don't know if there's any way out of it. California wants to bring back mask mandates, and you look on Twitter, what's trending? I will not submit, whatever that stupid phrase is. And the people at the CDC saying we can't. We're not going to go into lockdown again. We're not going to have mask mandates because people won't do it. What's the use? So that's our show today. Wow, we've been up, we've been down, we've been all around. And Artist Door says, I want to know what the Trumpsters take on the resurgence of polio. Very, 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 very good. And the monkeypox is directly related to smallpox. And there was a little bit of a false thing going around. Oh, Commissioner Gordon signing off from Winter Garden, Florida, saying thanks for having us. I don't know why this says Streamlabs. I'm supposed to say Bowlspot, but I will reply as I should. I'll see you in a day or two and maybe have more ideas for you. But the polio thing is very interesting because what are they going to say? Oh, but there are people, there are Trumpsters who do not believe in vaccinating their children at all. Mumps, measles, rubella, whooping cough, let them have it all. Build up your immunity. But there was a thing for a while saying that if you had the smallpox vaccine as a child, you're immune to monkeypox, which it turns out is not true. You have to have boosters. If you've had a booster, a smallpox booster within the past 3 years, your chances of not getting monkeypox are better. But it's not like you have childhood immunity from ever getting monkeypox. That is not true. If you have any questions or concerns or comments, you can email me, david@bowls.tv. On Twitter, hey, @DavidBowls. Super follows to follow. On Facebook, we are BOLES, straight up bowls. On Instagram, changing now to video only. It's going to be very sad. Not my thing. Bowls Books. On TikTok, which again, people say they're infiltrated or something. We are Bowls TV. And if you want to join our Discord server, have some fun. Me 6 free now. Come on over and say hi. Artist Dora says, bye, Gordon. David, have a great day. Oh, thank you so much. Dora, I appreciate that so much. We should create a sign-off for you that we have like Gordon has. It's a exclamation point command. It would be just for you to use to sign off. And then I'll have to have a response that I type to. Big show. I hope you have a wonderful nap, a good rest. I think the Jan Marie is going to sneak out and on her lunch break, go sit in the sun by the pool, which I am not allowed to do during daylight hours, as you know why. Yeah, skin cancer. But I can join the pool when it is in a shade and shadow, which I may do. So I hope you have a great day, a wonderful rest, a nice nap, and a good slumber. And when ye shall awaken, may your soul be filled with joy. And may you not have monkeypox and remain a COVID virgin. Dora says, how did she make out last Monday? What was last Monday? What was that? Today is what, Wednesday? Oh, yes. It was a very hot day, muggy, terrible day. You're very right to ask. She doesn't terribly mind the heat. She is a sun baby, as they say, which is a terrible threat to everything that I believe in. But what can I do? That's who she is. She has beautiful skin. She goes out 5 minutes in the sun. She has a deep, dark, beautiful tan. She decided to risk it, wore very thin, beautiful clothes. She looked very vivacious. She was hot, sweaty. It rained on her several times. Weird, weird weather. Then the ride home is what was really terrible at 4 o'clock. Hot, muggy, stuffy. Came in the house. She had been shopping. That's where she got that bread for us with the bird. $20 for 2 loaves of bread. Ridiculous. It's because it's Food Cellar, where everything is 3 times the price that it should be. And she came in, she was totally drenched in her shirt and her pants. Her beautiful face was completely purple because she was wearing a mask and she had been sweating and she was very hot. But then she smiled and the world was right. And then she went and took a shower, relaxed, had a wonderful time. But that was a challenging day. That was a good day for you to stay home, because that was not a good day to be on a train and to get rained on in the park. So I will see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern. You know where to find me if you have any thoughts or comments. Oh, Doris says, I love the sun too. I was so miserable all day on Monday. I hope she gets some TLC. Oh, she has TLC all day long. Probably too much if you ask her. I never liked the sun. I was always told to go out in the sun and get a tan, but it never worked for me. Oh, Artist Dora says, I know she did. Because it was hot and it would burn. It was better to stay in the basement in the cool air conditioning. Get stuff done. And now I can do that. When you're a child, sometimes you have to do the bidding of other people who think that they're doing the best bidding for you. And then 50 years later, you point to your face and say, well, maybe I should not have been out in the sun. I should have stayed in the dark. I will see you tomorrow.